CIA Director David Petraeus has resigned after just over a year in the job, citing an extramarital affair. In a statement sent to CIA staff, he wrote, "After being married over 37 years, I showed extremely poor judgment by engaging in an extramarital affair. Such behavior is unacceptable both as a husband and as a leader of an organization such as ours. This afternoon, the President accepted my resignation." Post columnist David Ignatius has been covering this and joins us now. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Brooke.
It's sad to say it, but lots of people have affairs. Why did he have to resign, and why did it happen now?
We don't know all the details, but it is true in the military, and CIA is an extension of that, personal behavior does matter in terms of whether you're seen as fit for the job. What's striking about this is the fall of one of the really, you'd have to say, heroic leaders the country's had in battle. David Petraeus is the most prominent general America has produced in its recent history. The image of him in that uniform with all those medals across his chest is one that everybody knows. And to see this man who commanded so many troops in battle, brought down by such an intimate and personal matter is a shock. In what I've written for the Washington Post website that's just going up now, I compare it to what you read in 19th century novels by Leo Tolstoy, in which you have these great figures who get involved in very personal, intimate matters that end up driving their own stories, even as the greater story goes on.
You've spent time with him, so you have a much better sense of this, but just from afar, observing him, seeing interviews, he seems like not just a very driven person, but a very disciplined person. It seems...
I'd say, Brooke, to be honest, he's the most driven and ambitious person I ever encountered. And I mean ambitious not simply in the personal sense, although he was that, but ambitious to be great. I remember thinking when I was visiting him in Baghdad that this is a man who literally bent history around his personality. You know, he was just that strong a force. When he went into Baghdad, the military basically had given up on the Iraq War. They wanted out. They thought this was a lost cause. You know, be done with it. And President Bush decided, in a very contrary way, to stay on a little bit longer. And here came Dave Petraeus saying, "Mr. President, I have a strategy for you." And you know, at that time, a lot of people thought nonsense. And I think it wasn't the strategy of counterinsurgency, which is what Petraeus became famous for, so much as the force of this will. He's not a big guy, but he would go out there, he'd take off his helmet and his battle armor, he'd walk the streets of Baghdad at a time when it really wasn't safe, to show people that, you know, that the U.S. was still here, we're still here, we're out in the streets, you know, it's kind of coming back. And I remember talking to him about this, and you know, it was just the sort of relentless daily management that made him effective as a commander. He tried to do that in Kabul as commander of our force in Afghanistan. He had a much tougher time because there was just less to work with there.
Last thing, quickly, is this effective immediately, and who takes over at the CIA?
It is effective immediately. One fortunate thing for the country, for the CIA, is that the acting director who was in place when Petraeus arrived, Michael Morrell, who's been serving as deputy to Petraeus, immediately came in today as acting director once again. He's somebody who is a career CIA officer. He comes from the analytical side of the agency. He was one of the people who for years helped prepare the President's daily brief. The White House likes him and trusts him. So in terms of continuity, having somebody who step in and run this big intelligence apparatus we've got at a time when we really need to know what's going on in the world, fortunately there's a good person there.
David, thanks a lot.
Okay.